Whatever Rishi Sunak manages or not in the election, just a few days from now, he has cast an India spell upon Britain, and certainly within the Conservative Party, where a number of Indian origin candidates are contesting in his name and in his footsteps, as we see wandering across to Walthamstow in East London.
I think the Prime Minister's popularity will always spill to a candidate's advantage. There's no way it can go against us. The Prime Minister has done the long-term planning for this country. He doesn't believe in short-term gains for this country. All his policies will be for my children and for my grandchildren. It's not a short-term thing, and that's what this country needs to understand. And so does Walthamstow. I'm sure they will embrace when the Prime Minister is elected next week with both arms open, because he's a person of the future and not just looking at short-term gains. The core Conservative vote will always remain the core Conservative vote.
The core Conservative vote has not always gone the Conservative way, as we saw in all those recent by-elections, and lack of popularity could spill over just as much as popularity might.
There is always, when a party is in government for a long time, there's always a resistance to that party because they've been in government for a long time. And I think the key thing the constituents of Walthamstow need to remember is what the Conservatives have given them in the last 14 years. What has Labour done? And like the Prime Minister said, they had all this time to think what they wanted to deliver in the last 14 years, but have they even thought about that? What is their manifesto saying? It doesn't even have the costing for what they want to deliver. So, frankly, the constituents in Walthamstow and across the country need to focus on what the Conservatives have delivered for them in the last decade and give us a chance against next week.
There are a lot of challenges in this area. This being a safe Labour seat, there has been complacency, and it's one of the most deprived areas of London. And Sanjana will be highlighting this during her campaign.
It's a tough campaign. No party has ever lasted more than 14 years in government, and in the circumstances, a Tory candidate will quite naturally point to the half-full part of the glass.
The Prime Minister has delivered on the inflation point, and it will reflect on the interest rate eventually, which will become a big factor for people to change their minds about the party. The Prime Minister has also worked on stopping the boats very clearly. And I don't think anything can be achieved overnight. The Prime Minister has been there only for 18 months. And in this little tenure of his, I think he's delivered big time for this country. And if given a chance again, I'm sure this country will not regret the decision of choosing Rishi Sunak again.
And surely some Sunak stamp is here to stay historically.
I have to say that I'm really proud as an Indian and as a Hindu that we have a British Indian Hindu leader, who's given this country is so inclusive. They've given us the opportunity to lead, and I think that's the greatness of this country.